Everybody, welcome back to our returning listeners, our new listeners. We're so happy to have you here. I am Reverend Tracy L, for those I haven't met, and it is the holidays. You're going to see me and my guest today. We are in front of our Christmas trees to make it a little happier for you guys. I even wore my Christmas dress. You can't tell it's a dress, but I wore my Christmas dress. And what is it to celebrate December 1st, to have some fun without Elf? You know, we got to have that Elf. Oh my God, make some fun. You know, with everything that's been going on in the world. And you guys, you got to start to celebrate. You got to start to have fun. It's really important. And you'll find that the more you're enjoying life right now, you're going to spend less and less time outside worrying about what's going on out there. So do everything you can to just bring in some joy and some cheer. I know for all of our American listeners, it was awesome. You had Thanksgiving. I hope you had lots of turkey and really enjoyed that. I have two quick announcements that today at 2 p.m. Eastern time, check out the Dr. Pat Show. I am on there with her. We're going to talk about the book that's coming out this week. So you want to make sure that you tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. We always have fun with Dr. Pat, so don't miss that one. And then you want to go to the website and sign up for the free book club that starts in January 19th, 4 weeks. We're going to talk about, you know, the book, but how you can make changes and what you noticed in the book. And we're just going to have a lot of fun. We're going to play. It's for 4 weeks in a row. So make sure you check that out. Now, I'm really excited today because this month we wanted to have a lot of fun. And my guest is here all about crystals. And yes, you can call in if you have a question around a crystal that you might say, what do I need right now? We're going to talk a lot about the properties of them and just have a really good time. So the call is 1-800-930-2819, and make sure you call us in and you can ask. But Shivani Sharma, I am so happy. She has gone on her own healing journey, and I have known her for quite a while now, and watching her with her love, her care, her attention. And I'm so excited that she decided that she was able to join us today and share the knowledge, because crystals they're beautiful. They're from Mother Earth. They're here to help you repair and restore your life with just having them, and they can be quite powerful. So Shivani, I'm so happy that you were able to join us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
So world of crystals, it's a big world. And you know, now that I really wanted you on this time, I got chills, because it should be a happy time. And I know a lot of people transition this year and everybody's going through it, going to the new earth. And I always find that crystals are some of them can be very powerful. As you know, you put them on and you're like, oh, what happened? I want to talk about that, but I want to know, what was it for you? Because you just got this crystal thing down pat. I'm not going to say that's my forte. I have to go look it up and stuff like that. What was it on your healing journey that you went, oh my gosh, that really opened that door to crystals and understanding what they can do for you from Mother Earth?
Yeah, you know, I've had a very, very, I guess, a bit of a history in terms of crystals, and they were part of my childhood. I remember that I actually went to Arizona with my family on a family trip, and we were at a meteorite site, and there was the gift shop over there, and I saw these geodes, and it just blew my mind that you could slice open a rock and inside you could see, like, you know, something like this. And I was like, wow, like, it's so beautiful and it's natural. It's not man-made. And I was really young at the time. My dad bought me my first crystal from there, which I still have, and it was an agate slice. And I can say that, you know, at that time it was more about, I loved the way it felt in my hand. I love that it was just beautiful, and it kind of made me feel more uplifted. And then I kind of, you know, over time sort of forgot about them a little bit. But within the past few years, they just began to play a really big role in my life, especially as I was on my healing journey. I found them to be very comforting. I found them to be beautiful. And due to my sensitivity with energy, I started to actually feel an energy when I held them in the palm of my hand. And that was enough for me to know that at least something was going on, that they weren't just pretty little things. There was something more to them. And I can honestly say that throughout my healing journey, and you know that the past 3 to 4 years have been really difficult for me, and I'm finally, getting out of it. They were just a constant source of comfort, and I will even go so far as to say that they also helped with my symptoms and my healing as I was going through that journey.
Oh, 100%. I have used crystals myself for over 17 years, and I love that you still have some of yours, because I'd love to have your perspective. I always find that you'd be drawn to a crystal, you just kind of go in the store, you're drawn. And then there's a point where you actually feel like you need to give it away. Why is that for the people that don't understand?
Yeah, so I would say that when you're attracted to crystal, it means that you're meant to work with it. It has an energy that you could benefit from. But over time, it may be that you get what you need from it, and then you don't really need it anymore. And it's then available to be provided to another person who might be able to benefit from it because it's their time to use it. So it's not that it's always going to be a constant. It will keep on changing in terms of what you're attracted to. And over time, you're just going to feel like, oh, it's so interesting that I once wanted that and now I don't. And usually when you reflect on it, it's because you got what you needed from it.
I love that. One time I bought this malachite, the green
Yeah.
malachite, and I went into the crystal store, and there was this crystal store where I was living at the time. It was huge. It was in Calgary, Alberta. They're great. And they came from all over the world, but you'd walk into the store and you vibrate. Like there were millions of crystals, not just, and every size. So I buy this malachite. It's probably the palm of my hand. And I'm like, and I was in the thick, like you say, thick of your healing journey. This was probably a good 15 years ago. And I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful. I want to take it. I take it home and I decide I'm going to sleep with it. Like that's how much I love this crystal. I can't explain it. It sounds crazy to listen. The next morning, okay, I learned you don't always go and sleep with your crystal. The next morning, I was so sick. I was so sick. And I didn't understand at first because crystals were new to me, right? And I think that people, they forget because they come from the earth. The earth is powerful. The earth is healing, right? We wouldn't, these aren't bad things, or they wouldn't be in the earth. But I think that sometimes, isn't there, this is what I learned. So I'd love for you to share this. There's an integration process with our crystal, because what I did literally knocked me. Like it was good in the end because it purged a lot, but I was probably really sick for a good week from the crystal.
Yeah, definitely there is a process for integration, and I can say that it's even more the case with certain kinds of crystals compared to others. So for example, like Moldavite is one of those crystals that you really need to attune to over time. You do not want to be walking with it all day the first time you get it.
I did that one too. I bought a pendant. Oh my God, don't do that, guys. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you can literally get physically sick, or you can just get super drained or tired, and it's because they're interacting with your energy, and it begins a bit of a purging process that can be really overwhelming if you're not doing it in small amounts of time. And so it's really important to attune to the energy in small amounts and begin to build your way up slowly, as opposed to just going all in.
Yeah, I'm kind of the all-in girl. I had to learn the hard way, not the easy way. So what would be some of the tips that you can give for people that like, because I was reading someone the other day who had left the religious community, and when it comes from that space, there's a whole learning. And he said to me, I just got my first crystal like 4 months ago. And what would you say to somebody who's had no contact with crystals, or maybe they've looked at them, they want that? What are the tips they can take to integrate with their crystal to ensure that they don't do what I did? Because that's no fun. Then you're going to run away from them.
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing I do want to say is when you first get a crystal, it's really important to clear it because they are very sensitive and they can carry negative energy. And so you want to make sure that it is clear. A very, very easy way to do that is just pass it through the smoke of sage. And that way, you know that it kind of has a blank slate. So anybody who has previously handled it, their energy is no longer in it and it's available for you and only you. The next thing is
incense, or they can use Palo Santo, frankincense.
Salt water for some, but not all crystals, because some can actually disintegrate in salt water, but that's fairly easy to find online. You can do a quick Google search as to what's good for salt and what isn't. And those are just some of the ways which are great to just get it into that blank state. And then what you want to do is you want to be able to actually literally kind of treat them like your friend and have a conversation with them. That's what I do. It's like, might get my new crystal and just like, hey, Tiffany stone, this is what I want you to do for me. And it's like, you can have fun with it. You don't have to be so serious about it. And you can just say, I want you to please bring me love, or please help me to get rid of anger from my system, or please bring more prosperity to me, or a new job opportunity. It's really up to you in terms of what you want to program in terms of your intention. And once you have that, your next job is then to actually keep the crystal with you. Of course, not going all in as we discussed, but over time, you can start by just meditating with it in small increments. It's good also to keep it relatively close to you so it's in your energetic field for small periods of time. And then you can also just spend some time really, I find, getting quiet and then just feeling the energy and being open to receiving what it has to give to you.
I like that. I like what you say too. I love that you said program your crystal with your intention. Guys, this is like, that's one of the main things, right? I always like to take it, like you said, and I put in my hand, what is that intention? And so remember, clean it, program it. And if you're going to meditate and spend time with it, then probably you're starting at about that, what would you say, like 5-minute mark or 10-minute mark?
Around there, like start at 5 maybe. And if you're okay with that, then gradually increase.
Yeah, I like that. One time I bought I have it upstairs in my office now, is a rose quartz lamp. I never seen them before. And then I found this one, and I literally had to keep it in a box in my basement for a month because it was so strong before I could integrate it. And you and this is why I love it when people can, they can work with you and you can tell them what to do, because it's really important to have people like you that are knowledgeable if you're loving crystals, because it is, they are powerful. They are from the earth's core. And a lot of times people forget, like we talk a lot in our community about silver and gold, right? They come from the earth. They have a purpose, what they do. So people are conditioned, oh, silver and gold. But then when we talk to crystals, it's like, they're all the energy, guys. They're all coming together and have a wealth vibe. And then in crystals, right, we were saying with the rose quartz, they have a heart, like this big drawing heart space. And if you got a closed heart this time of year, or you're struggling, I would probably say you'd want one pretty close by you, wouldn't you? Yeah. So really, people, listen to what Shivani is saying here with what to do, because you need to understand how to integrate. I actually have a question for you from Christy. I was just looking at some of our feed here. She wants to know, what's a good crystal for thyroid and metabolism?
Yeah, so when you're considering the thyroid, I always like to navigate towards the crystals that have a blue color or blue energy. And so I really love aquamarine for the thyroid. And it also is a wonderful crystal just to help to bring a kind of peace and balance to the system. And another thing that you can consider is also something like a blue calcite, which has a similar kind of energy. Now, the great thing about both of these are that they're very gentle. They're not very extreme. And I generally find that when you're looking at wanting to balance a physical part of your body, you want to start very gentle and you don't want to jolt your system too much. So those are the two that I would recommend.
So where would you suggest, like, how some people, they'll carry their crystals in their pockets, right? They'll go out or they'll put them in their purse or whatever. I always think that you need to clean those at the end of the day, because who knows, like, you clean them at the end of the day too. Yeah. For me, I just feel better. So I'd love your expert, that's your space. But what would you suggest? So if someone she goes and she gets the crystal for her thyroid or her metabolism, is there a place on the body you would recommend that she places it on while she's meditating, or is it okay for her to carry it? What do you suggest to your clients?
Yeah, so one great thing is if you're working with the area that's kind of around your neck, is you can wear a necklace and you can actually get those crystals as pendants. And then that way it's very close to the energy center that regulates the thyroid. So I'm a big fan of jewelry for that reason. And also with necklaces, you can adjust the length, right? So you can wear it at different heights and it can hit different parts of your body. So I would really recommend checking into that. You can also get a bracelet. If you are wearing crystal bracelets for the purpose of healing, it's better to wear on your left wrist as opposed to your right wrist. And you can also just keep it within your
Wait a
field.
minute. So
Yeah.
why is that? Explain.
So,
Explain. Because I love wearing mine on the right wrist. I love it. I got all mine. I wear them. I rotate. But I'll tell you guys, even when I put a new bracelet on, I put the new onyx one on that we made the other day. Oh my God. I had to actually take it off for an hour and then put it back on. I've done that with Moldavite. I've done that with malachite, everything. So why is that for healing purposes? Why the left versus the right?
So traditionally, it's thought that the left part of the body is associated with the more feminine and receptive energy, whereas the right part of the body is more active and masculine. So when you're talking about receiving energy, it's really more aligned with the left side. But if you're talking about manifesting and getting active, then you want to wear it on the right side. So lots of people, for example, that are looking for new jobs or they want to manifest more wealth, they're going to put like citrine or carnelian on their right wrist because it's going to have that natural energy coming from your body to support that process.
I love that. I hope everybody's paying attention because you know how many times people have asked me, like, we know, yeah, left, feminine energy in, right? And I love that you explained that because a lot of people say, I'm like, I don't know. For me, just know that I'm nice, healthy, strong. I just love them on my right wrist. So I guess that's why I'm always attracted. I love it. Oh, it's so cute. Okay, I have some more questions for you. Okay, if we answer some more here. They're like coming in now over here. So, okay. Oh, funny. Christy says it's very interesting what you just said because she's really into blue. So you just
there you go.
Her. I love it. I love it. This one is about shungite. Now I'm a little biased here. She says shungite best for EMFs, or is there also another crystal? I have shungite all over my home for EMFs. I absolutely love it, but I don't know. Is there another one, or what is your take on shungite and EMFs?
I love shungite. I also have it all over the place.
Okay.
I think it is the most effective for EMF. It actually has been studied. So there is a bit of science behind it that shows that it can absorb up to around 90 to 98% of EMF. And so I actually found, like, I have one over here and I put it around my technology. It's a shungite pyramid. Yeah, I love it because I actually noticed that my energy level became way better after I put this by my computer and I was feeling quite drained without it. I personally have not found any other crystal to do as good of a job. There are some rumors that black tourmaline can also do that, but I haven't found it to be nearly as strong as shungite. So I always recommend shungite.
I have to agree with you on that. I just bought another 4 pyramids like the other day. I was like, because we were changing things in the house and I have a lot of gear when I work. Like people are shocked, right? Energetically, I've got mics, I got 2 computers. Sometimes I got a monitor up there if I'm upstairs. Like I got so much stuff. And I literally placed 3 shungite pyramids on my desk. And that's why I bought more the other day because I was feeling just sort of for me, I feel in my heart, and I know you feel a lot too through your heart with the crystals. I was getting that pressure and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is all this tech stuff. So I'm really happy you said that because I also would be nice. Maybe they need to start putting shungite in clothes or something. I don't know if there's fashion people out there like sew it into the lining.
Yeah, you can even get little plates to put on your cell phone. So like I have a shungite heart at the back of my phone, and they're getting pretty creative about the ways in which you can incorporate it in your day-to-day life to reduce your exposure. So
do you sell the hearts and those? I can't remember.
I don't right now. I don't have it in my inventory, but it is easy for me to get. So I can definitely in the future.
You're the girl to go through. I know you are like the go-to girl. I'm telling you guys, like you want to call Shivani if you have anything to do. She's also in our community, which I love because she knows exactly what's going on. Okay, I have another one here. She loves, I hold my phone with my right hand and wear a bracelet on my right hand. Oh, she liked that one. So this is a good question. I like this one. How can someone tell if you have a real crystal or a fake one? That's a great question. Oh, there you go, Shivani.
It is a great question. Now, the thing is, I can honestly say that the crystal market has become so diverse and it's all over the world. And there's so many people, especially online, who are offering to sell and not all of them are authentic, and there are a lot of fakes. Now, the problem is the people who are selling the fakes have gotten really good at creating them. And so it can be very difficult to discern whether what you are getting is fake or real. And actually, the only way you'd be able to tell is to break it open, and be able to take a look at it from the inside. Because usually when you do that, you can actually tell that there's no crystalline once it's broken. It kind of looks like almost a bit like glass, and it usually is glass that they're working with in order to produce fake crystals. So what I recommend to people is go to sellers who are reputable, who are trustworthy, because we do a lot of research into sourcing our crystals, understanding where they're coming from, making sure that the people that we're getting them from are people who are well known, and who are respected in the field. Be very wary of just accepting sellers who don't have as much of a good reputation. And most sellers will also have, like client testimonials and come referred, and that's how you know that they are trustworthy.
Yeah, I like that you said that. Also, too, maybe I shouldn't say it, but also price point a bit. Like, I know when I'm very particular, like when I get where I get my braids, like the woman that makes them, she has a big, like she's very particular where everything comes from. And you pay more too for a good crystal. Like if you're buying a bracelet for $10 and you got a full thing of onyx or selenite or what, so you might want to think twice. Like, I find that even like that malachite I was telling you about, that was the upon my hand, it was like $70. But I knew when I went in the store, it came right from, I think it was, well, they were from Brazil, but everything was imported. Like I knew them. I think that one came from Brazil. Might be wrong because it was so long ago, but I knew exactly where they came from. And then they had to import them and, do so. I don't find that if you're paying, you go and, oh, I got 3 bracelets for $10. You might want to like think twice about that. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're totally right. And I think it's really important to remember that crystals do come in different grades. And when you're looking at wanting to use them to actually benefit from their energy, you want to shoot for at least A grade or higher.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ones that are in the market are actually B grade, some are even C grade. Now, the thing is, people go for those because they're like, oh, they're cheap, it's easier on my wallet. But then it's going to pull you down energetically if you wear that. Now, especially with Tracy and people who are in your community, we're getting shifts from you daily if we're in something like the Miraculous Academy or if we're attending your events. And can you imagine if after going through that, we were to walk with the B grade crystal, it would just bring us down. So it's so important to make sure that they are good quality. But if they are good quality, they are going to be a little more expensive. And people are always, a little frustrated with cost. But I always say, listen, I'm not selling it just to be a pretty thing to look at. I want you to use it and I want you to benefit from it. And so I have to charge what it is actually worth. So that is a very good clue for you. Look at the price and look at what you're getting. And if it just seems to be too cheap and too good to be true, it's probably because it is.
Yeah, hang on. We are not going to take a break. Just FYI, quickly. I've looked at here, take a break. I'm kind of watching the comments so we can feed through. I like that you said that it's true. It's like diamonds, right? Like you can go buy a cubic zirconium that looks like a diamond and pay $100, or you can buy the real thing in different grades and pay anywhere from $100 to, $1,000. And crystals, people forget that. I think they forget that crystals are definitely in that same category. And I'm happy you said that, because I know when we're sourcing anything like that, it has to be top grade. And if you don't get top grade, it's not going to work as well. It's no different than anything else. Like if you don't have that, it's the more pure it is, the better it's going to work with you. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love it. I have a question here was, when you have multiple crystals, should they be stored together or separate? So what about throwing them in a bowl or putting them in a box, or where you put them? How's the best way so they're functioning together? Because we know crystals talk.
Yes, they definitely do. So, I haven't experienced too much of a problem in terms of, for example, putting them on a shelf together or putting them in a display case together. But where you kind of have to be careful is when they're really close to your body. So, for example, if you're doing a mix of bracelets, there are some crystals that can kind of counteract each other based on the energy. So you want to make sure that they are very harmonious and working with each other. Now, that takes a little bit of not just intuitive work, but also a good understanding of their properties in order to see whether it would make sense to wear a few together or not. And in the same way that if you're meditating with crystals, it may not be a good idea to like meditate with like 3 at a time. It's probably better to just connect individually at different times to get the frequencies at different places, because that way you're just benefiting from that one frequency at that time. When you combine it, it can actually also be quite overwhelming to your system. It can also give kind of mixed signals energetically.
Yeah, I agree. When I just added my new bracelet the other day, I wore it by itself. And I do that a lot. Like I don't wear all my bracelets always together. I,
Yeah.
like you say, I'm like, sometimes I take them off and sometimes I'll put one on, I'll rotate them through. Sometimes the seasons I want something different. And that's one thing I like, is you help people understand what would be best for them and what's happening, so they're not getting overwhelmed. I think that's a big thing. If you're buying a crystal and if you're feeling overwhelmed and you just got a crystal in your house, you may want to kind of ask Shivani why. Reach out to her on Instagram, ask her why. So another question here was selenite. So she loves selenite for cleaning. So can you explain for people who don't know what selenite is, and is there other complementary ones for cleaning energy that you would recommend?
Yeah, so this is what selenite looks like. So you can get it in the form of towers. You can also get them in the form of wands. And there's like hearts, like it comes in bowls even. And it's thought to be incredibly purifying and cleansing for the energy fields as well as for all the energy centers. Now, I personally really love it. And I think it is one of those crystals people ask me, like, if there's one crystal that you could recommend everybody have, what would it be? I always respond with selenite. It also has a very gentle energy, which makes it very easy to use. And I find that you don't actually need too much time to attune to its energy. So I actually have a wand of this. And what I do is I pass it over my body at the end of a day, almost as envisioning like getting off any negative energy that I might have absorbed, and being able to just cleanse my field nicely before I go to bed. And you can also use something like a tower and put your bracelets around it. So just put your bracelets on top and it'll clear your bracelets for you. So it is believed to be a crystal that can actually clear other crystals. And so people also have selenite bowls. I do offer them in my store as well. And so if you have little tumblestones, crystal tumblestones, you can just keep it in the selenite bowl for about, I find, around 5 hours, and it gets cleared really, really well without having to use the sage or having to use the Palo Santo or anything like that. So it is like, I think it's a bit of a nifty crystal because it has so many different purposes for which you can use it and different ways in which you can use it. And I highly recommend it.
I love that you said around the bracelets, because actually one of the questions Sheila just asked is, how do we clean our bracelets? Do we put them in the moonlight? Like, what should we do? So you can put them in the moonlight, but this is kind of nice. You're saying at the end of the day, throw them around the tower.
Yeah, one of these towers and you're good to go.
So they just
easy peasy.
Go to Shivani's store and get a tower. No, and do that. And you know what I love about crystals too is they're really unique Christmas presents. Like, they're unique birthday presents. Like,
yeah,
they're different.
I love them. And especially this year, a bunch of my friends, maybe because of my influence, have really gotten into crystals. And I would say that majority of my presents to my friends this year are crystal based. And they love it because it has a meaning and significance, and they're beautiful and there's an energy. So like, I just think it's such a great present.
It's one of the best gifts, and because it does come from the earth and it is unique, and when people really understand, you're giving them healing, you're giving them beauty, you're giving them all this, just goodness in one little crystal, and it doesn't even have to be that big. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about this time of year. I absolutely love it. I want to make sure I have a few other questions here. I'm going to make sure I didn't oh, there we go. There's Lisa. Okay, she actually popped in here. So the phone's not working. That's okay. So what would be a good crystal for somebody's small business? So we are on lockdown again in California. California. So she has a restaurant, and I'm trying not to give up scared. We'll give you also some energetic shifting there, Lisa, as well, because I know it is. So what would be a good crystal? One for her business. Obviously a lot of restaurant owners, we have to give them a lot of love right now because it's really hard. We're seeing it here too, Lisa, and where we are, where Shivani and I are, there's the restaurants are exactly, so I can do some clearing for you there. So she would also need, so for her business, that would be also prosperity, and then also some grounding, perhaps these could go together, something to help cool the anxiety around the business. So what would be good for her there?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll speak first to the anxiety bit. And so the crystal that I really like to use for anxiety and that I've been recommending a lot this year in particular for people is Lepidolite. And Lepidolite is a crystal that actually contains lithium, just like anti-anxiety medication. So it has that same, so it has that kind of same vibrational frequency. And it's beautiful. I just love the purple color. And it is incredibly effective for balancing the nervous system and the third eye, and for getting rid of any kind of worry or nervousness. So lots of people have really been gravitating to this year. One of my favorites. Yeah,
you saw that one. I need to pick that one up. Not for me, but I know somebody that's close to me that could use that. And would you recommend, because that's a beautiful like that's a big piece there. Yeah. So beautiful. Would you recommend that they use that? I've never heard of that one. Like around them where they're working or where they're sleeping. Where would you recommend somebody that struggles with that to be able to use it? What's the best place?
I think it's good for both during the day and the night. I actually find this is one of the crystals that you can keep by your bedside table and not have it affect you in a negative way. It has a very calming energy. So you can keep it by your bedside table, or you can also just keep it where you're working throughout the day on your desk. It kind of will begin to just bring your nervous system a little down as you're moving through your day so that you're not feeling like you're hyperventilating or getting a little agitated or frustrated with circumstances.
I love that. Okay, we have to talk about that one after show. Now, that's a great Christmas present. Guys, that's a good Christmas present. You want that one. So what would she use for her small business? What would you recommend? And where would she put that crystal in her small business? She has
so I love this because I just went through this process myself in the past year with working on my small business and trying to figure out what crystals to work with. So I'm gonna talk very quickly about three. So I have them all here, which is also great. I had a feeling it would come up. So the one that's really hot on the market right now that people are loving is called flower agate. So I have a heart version of it, but the reason it's called flower agate is because it actually looks like flowers. This is completely natural. This is actually a crystal that comes primarily from Madagascar, and it is associated with just bringing in your highest potential and helping you to bring your talents out and reach your dreams and manifest your desires. So lots of people, when they're looking at their business and they're planning and they're thinking about what they want for themselves, they love to use this. It's considered to be like an entrepreneur stone. So I highly recommend flower agate for small business owners. And then I also recommend green amethyst, which looks like this. And green amethyst has a very soothing energy to the heart, but it keeps it open to new experiences and new opportunities. And it also allows you to bring your gifts and your talents out into the world and help you to overcome anything that might be making you feel like you have to make yourself small or that you're not ready or that kind of energy. So I highly recommend that as well. And then finally, this is very popular for manifesting wealth and prosperity, which is citrine. So good old citrine. It's also very popular in the crystal market, but this is something that I also use. And definitely for citrine and both for the flower agate, I'd recommend keeping it where you do your work. So where are you doing your accounting? Where are you doing your planning? Wherever you're going to be the busiest with generating your ideas or looking at your finances and your accounts, you would want to keep these two crystals over there.
Wow. Okay. So you'll make sure to, guys, don't worry. We're going to get these recommendations from Shivani too, and we're going to put them below. So people, you'll be able to reference the show back and go, where's she there? You'll be able to find her as well, because that's really important. I'd never seen the flower one either. This is fun. I love it when you see the new crystals, because like he's like hot on the market, they're brand new, because that's the cool thing about Mother Earth. There's always something new coming in.
It is. Yeah.
Like they're finding new things. They're discovering new things. I love it. Okay, so what would you, next question here, with so many questions. So sometimes they come this way, sometimes they call in. So what would be a crystal you would recommend for children that maybe have, like, they're more, they need to calm more, they need more calm?
I also thought this was going to come up. So that's great because I recommend blue lace agate. So this is it in raw form. And it is really soothing, really gentle. I know a lot of parents who actually like to use this in like the nursery for a baby or a young child. And also for anybody who might have ADHD, it's just considered to be incredibly soothing and calming. And I've actually had people tell me that after putting this by their children, they've noticed that they have calmed down. So I highly recommend this. It's so soothing. It's beautiful. It's another one that's also safe to put by your bedside table.
What was that called again?
Blue lace agate.
Blue lace agate. So that's something, could they also have a little piece that they could carry on them and then a piece by their bed while they're sleeping?
Absolutely.
Would you recommend that?
And you can also get this in a tumbled form. So that is just a small little crystal that you can also keep in a child's pocket, or put it in, they're not going, a lot of children aren't going to school, but the ones that are, you can even put it in their school bag. Like, it's just a way of keeping it close to them while they're moving about their day.
Wow, I love it. I'll give you guys a little surprise, is that Shivani's actually coming into our community in January, end of January, probably when I get back too. And we're going to do a full class again for you guys. So I'm really excited of this because I love learning all this new stuff. And for children, if we can give them natural things, right, to help, like the crystals, and absolutely. And would a bracelet even help for kids with that?
Yes, definitely, because this is one of those crystals, again, that's very soothing, calming, and gentle. So if you wanted to put a blue lace agate on their left wrist, it would be really, really great.
Oh, okay. Now, can they get that from you, or is that something you would have to go look on online?
So I don't offer jewelry, but I do offer the crystals. Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember. It's just important because I think too that people can, again, like we were saying, make sure you get a good quality, right? A good quality. So Christy says that she sleeps with blue lace agate. So there you go, right? She's sleeping with it. I love it. And Lisa said thank you. She had never heard of those before. So one of the questions here is, I heard that tumbling takes away the power function, that it lessens. Is that true? Now, I don't know what that means.
My guess is that it's probably that good old question about, is raw crystal better or is polished crystal better? And so I can speak a bit to that. So people believe that when you get it in raw form, which is basically this, like it just looks more natural and there's nothing going on in terms of it being polished, that it's more energetically potent.
Okay.
I do think that it's a bit of a myth, because if you are getting high grade polished, it's still going to have a very good energetic effect. So you just, again, want to focus on the quality that you're getting as opposed to the form. That being said, there are some people who do find themselves gravitating toward natural more than polished. And if that's how you feel, then I would say to follow that, because there's probably a reason why you're feeling that way and something in your system that needs it in that form.
Okay. Yeah. Like, again, back to get high grade. That's,
Definitely.
I think, the key there, right? Get high grade. So another question Christine had was, what would you recommend as the best crystal for grounding? Because everything right now we know is upheaval, right? As we're purging our systems. And we all know that after 30 days, your body learns to ground. But this year and into next year, as all the systems are changing, I've noticed energetically that the bodies are becoming ungrounded very quickly because they're afraid. They're afraid of the change. So what would you recommend? What couple would you say these ones are great for grounding while we're going through great transition?
Yeah, so I think for grounding in general, a lot of the black colored crystals are really good. So black tourmaline is wonderful. And it's something that, along with grounding, is also quite protective. So people are feeling that kind of insecurity, which is part of also a lack of being grounded. And so it kind of works on those two levels of grounding you, but also making you feel a little more secure and safe. And then the other one that I recommend is garnet, because garnet is really good for physically grounding you and for your physical body. And it kind of pertains to the energetic part of your body that is all about setting that solid foundation for your body and for yourself. And so I highly recommend using that as well.
So they can use them together, right? Like you
Yes,
can put both of
definitely.
those together, it'd be really good. Oh,
Yeah.
Cloud, you're going to come join us too. You're just like, I'm having fun. All right. So you're going to see him, all the animals. I have a zoo in my house. Yeah, it's good. Okay. So the other question I have here is what would be your recommendation for crystals to help with calcification of the third eye?
Yeah, so there are so many crystals that you can use. I think like the classic third eye crystal that is very well known is amethyst.
Yeah.
It's really, really good for clearing the third eye. And it's just like, it's also a very affordable crystal in comparison to some of the other third eye crystals that can be quite expensive. And so it's a wonderful way to kind of open up that energy center and just to get things to lift and disintegrate if they're not necessary to be there anymore. So that would be like my main recommendation.
And again, that's something that you would recommend people sleeping with or having beside them, or?
So I find with amethyst, it's one of those things where you kind of have to integrate slowly if you want to sleep with it. So you can get tumble stones of amethyst that you can put under your pillow while you sleep.
Okay.
But I would say like maybe do it, first experiment with it as a nap and then see how you feel, or, do it for one night and see how you feel, and then alternate so that it's every other night as opposed to every night, and begin to work your way up. It's just that I know some people who have, again, gone all in with it and have woken up with headaches and feeling disoriented. So just be a little careful with it. But it is one that does work very well as a bracelet to wear throughout the day, or to keep on your desk while you're working.
Yeah, I remember a friend of mine had got one of those great, the great big tall amethyst cave. She put it in her bedroom. I'm like, I don't think that's a good place to put it. Oh my gosh, she went on a trip. So, and
Yeah.
it was like huge. Okay, it was huge. I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. So that's why I asked. So another question here would be, gosh, we're getting to the top of the hour already. Okay, I think it's called a Angelite, and the energy is amazing. So how best can I use this? I've never heard of
Yes.
that one.
So I think that's Angelite.
Angelite?
Must be Angelite. So Angelite is lovely. It has a very soft energy. It's thought to actually connect you with the angelic realm, and it is very soothing. So that's another one that I actually find to be quite safe to sleep with. It's comparable to blue lace agate that way in its energy. So you may want to consider getting a tumble stone and keeping it under your pillow, or some form of it and keeping it by your bedside. I've actually have also seen angels, like angel statues carved out of Angelite, that people like to keep on their bedside, and even travel with. So it's a wonderful one to connect with that way.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so what's your thought on, I know we're going to top of the hour and how fast this goes, right? What is your thought when it comes to people that shy away from crystals just based on them when they say, oh, they're bad? What do you say to that? Because I'm like, well, they come from the earth, so they're not bad because, God, universe, divine, put them there on the earth. Mother Earth heals us and they're in the earth, so we're walking on them. So I'd love your perspective on that, just for people that are listening. I know I'm going to dive into this next year too, a little more, but what is your perspective on that?
Yeah, I think the first thing I want to encourage people to think about if they feel that way is, where did you hear that it's a bad thing? Because it can be the result of what I'm going to call kind of false programming, or a belief system that is not necessarily true. When I look at crystals, yes, they are, I believe, gifts from the earth. I believe that they're meant to support us, and that they are so easy to connect with. Now, another thing I also want to say is, they're not foreign to us because we are actually made of crystal. Our skeleton has hydroxyapatite, which is a crystal. So it only makes sense that it resonates with us and would work with us, because it's already part of who we are. So I encourage people just to think about that you're almost connecting with a bit of an extension of yourself when you're connecting with them.
That is a great point. I love that you just said that. I love it. Everybody, you listen there because it's amazing. I have another quick question here before I know we have to do some closing thoughts, but how can you use moon water for your crystals?
Yeah, so moon water is thought to be very cleansing in general. So you can actually, now again, be careful. There's some crystals that don't like water. But for the ones that do, you can actually give them a bit of a bath in moon water. So full moon night, you can just leave like a bowl or a jar of water outside and allow it to absorb the lunar energy. And then the next day, you can actually use that to bathe your crystals. I know some people even like to put it in their own sea salt baths for a bit of a moon bath for themselves. So that's a great way in which you can kind of allow for both the clearing, but a bit of the lunar energy to get in there as well.
I love that. And we just had a full moon and lots of people were like, I feel out of control. You know, my inbox is blowing up. I don't feel good. What's happening? And, you know, I think and these are just little things that we can have as support and to have us as really, well, they're not little, they're strong. And I think that's one of the things today as well, to understand that we want to slowly bring them into the system and really work with that one. And then you might be drawn to another one and drawn to another one. What would be, before I have one more quick question, what would be the best way to dispose of a crystal when you're done with it?
Yeah, so I think you may want to consider giving it away because there may be somebody who actually would benefit from its energy. You don't want to put it in the trash. You know, crystals, they have a consciousness and they've helped you. And so I think it's really important to respect them and to treat them well. I know some people who just like the idea of returning it back to nature because that's where it came from. So some people like to put it in streams or they bury it in the earth, but the idea that you're sending it back home.
Yeah, I like that. I like putting them back in the earth. Normally, though, I have to say, somebody comes in and says, I want that crystal. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of done with it. You can take it. Off you go. I've used a lot, given a lot away, and I like bringing more in. All right. What is your final word that you can leave with someone for the holidays with crystals, and also where they can find you if they want to get more information on crystals and buy some crystals? And I know I got to get that purple one from you. That will be my next thing to do this weekend. So let everybody know where they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, for sure. So I am on Instagram and my handle is at Crystal Energetics and my sales page is at crystalenergetics.sales. And I run sales about twice a month. I have my holiday sale coming up next week. So I'm really excited for that. I have a bunch of crystals coming from all over the world and some of them are going to be Christmas themed, which I'm so excited about. And so feel free to send me a DM, even if you don't see anything that that you want, but you know of a certain crystal maybe that you heard of today, just send me a message and I can source it for you.
I love it.
Also, I just wanted to say, please stay open. If you feel shy of it, I just encourage everybody to just try, give it a shot, and then come to maybe your understanding after that.
I love that you said that. Be really open, because crystals, when they're new or you've had them for a while, be open and just understand what that is. And so don't worry, we're going to also have all of that information for you guys below. So you'll be able to watch that if you're watching this again and have that, so you know where to get that. And your favorite crystal right now before we go?
Ooh, that is so hard. I kind of oscillate between a couple, but I'll tell you the one that's really resonating with me at the moment. This is called Tiffany Stone. Ooh. And this is a free form version of it. It's not easy to find. It comes from Utah, from only one place, one little mine in Utah that actually doesn't produce this. It produces something else. And so this is the people have been smuggling this out of the mine in order to actually create this crystal. But it's basically a combination of a bunch of different things, including opal and fluorite. And the energy from it really clears crown to third eye and helps with channeling and with developing your inner vision and your insight. And so I'm really, really loving working with this one right now.
That's beautiful. Yes. I've never heard of that one before either. See, it's like, it is Christmas, all these new learnings and understandings. Now, is that something they keep on their desk, or is that something they could sleep with, or is that, what do you recommend with it?
So I do find it to be quite powerful, and I've had this for a few months now, and I can only handle meditating with it for about 10 minutes.
Wow.
I think that it's kind of best taken in small doses. I don't know if I'll be able to handle it a little bit more and build my time up, but for now, like it's pretty powerful and potent and works in small amounts of time.
It is absolutely stunning. Like it's that I love the block that it comes in. So, and you sell that one too? I love it. I love it. And so I think that for today, guys, before we have to head out, is to really remember, go slow, clean your crystals. There's a crystal for everything you're going through. And there's, when you start to understand, there's a lot of knowledge. Get high grade, right? You say get high grade, make sure you're getting a good one. But you said direct messaging is best way for people to get in touch with you with Instagram. So that's awesome. So it is one of those places where it's new territory. I love it. And for people that are well informed or not, you're a great place to start. If somebody knows nothing about it, why not just ask you, say, what's the best crystal for me? I'm sure you get that question a lot, right? Or
all
what would
the
you
time. And I'm not there just to sell crystals. I'm also there to be a resource. I love sharing information about it. So please don't feel shy about contacting me with your questions.
Yeah, and I love that about you. And I can say, knowing you as long as I have, your heart's in that place, you're following your passion. You come from an incredible background of a lot of information and intuition. And I'm so grateful that you took this time. I think it's a great time for people to get more involved in crystals, especially with what's going on in the world and the grounding. It really is. So thank you for joining me. Anybody in the community, stay tuned, because you will see she will be doing a class for us in the new year, and it'll be a good time to do some interaction. So thank you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Tracy.
We will have you again, because I know the listeners, I want more. So thank you, everybody, for joining us this week. Again, check out the Dr. Pat Show at 2 p.m. today. I'm going to be talking about the book that's coming out this week. You can get your copy, join the book club, have some fun in January. And don't be shy to reach out to Shivani and really understand what crystals are best for you, because it's probably a way better Christmas gift you can give to somebody would be a crystal than another pair of socks that they really don't need. All right, everyone. Thank you again, Shivani. Lots of love. And we'll see you all next week, same time, same place, with our guest Henrietta, about connecting to the earth and some more business consciousness and love. Have an incredible week, guys. Thank you for listening to the Tracy L Clark Show with me, Tracy L, where I teach you how to connect to the God consciousness so you can unlock your superpowers and connect at light speed and live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where together we will unlock the secrets of your body and your life. As the founder of the Body Regeneration Academy, I, Tracy L, will provide you with the insight and simple tools you can apply right now in your life to move you forward and leave the past in the dust. To join the Body Regeneration TLC Online Academy, make sure you check me out at tracylclark.com.